is the nation's number one talk news and sports radio station. 7 minutes gone past the 3 o'clock hour. Welcome to an abridged version of Hard Facts. Today, the whole week, we are bringing you an abridged version of the show because we have the debate still ongoing. Yes, it's the originals of the I Beg to Differ Students' Debate Champions. It starts at 4 p.m. with Femi Obong-Daniels and Yvonne Haifel. My name is Maryann Okon. We're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. I did promise you yesterday that I was going to bring Gbadebo on the show, and he's right here in the studio, very on time, in fact, very early. But I wish that half the time we bring our guests, we're coming to talk about some things that are fruitful, good, on a good note. Unfortunately, it's not on the very best of notes that we're having this conversation. But for those of you who are wondering, in just the past few weeks, in fact, the month of November has come with a lot of surprises. Nigeria has witnessed some of the worst mass abduction in years. In Niger State, armed men stormed St. Mary's College School in Papiri and abducted about 315 people, mostly children. Around 50 of those students managed to escape, and we still hear that hundreds remain missing, scattered, or unaccounted for. In Kebbi, 24 were kidnapped, schoolgirls. Suddenly, they were released yet again. No clarity from the government about how, why, or under what conditions. And stepping back just a little, let's look at the numbers across the country so far. They're staggering for those of you who do not know. Between July of 2024 and June of 2025, Nigeria has recorded 4,722 kidnappings across 997 incidents. Kidnappers, as we all know, have demanded 48 billion naira in ransom. Some families have been able to pay, some haven't been able to pay. But the ones who have managed to pay have paid over 2.57 billion naira. And at least 762 people were killed. Now, for those of you who are wondering, this is no longer, just something that happens somewhere far off. It's come close to us, down to the southwest, as close as Kwara. Recently, we saw the Southwest governors, have a meeting on the issue of security. So this is no longer a security issue. This is a national emergency, a human tragedy, and increasingly an organized industry built on the blood of our people. Joining me in the studio to discuss not only the expanding of the kidnapping ring, we're also going to be talking about what needs to be done or what governments should be seen to be doing. My guest is a former governorship candidate on the platform of the Labour Party, who's now a member of the ADC. Gbadebo Rhodes joins us live in the studio. It's so good to have you join us. Good afternoon. Like I said, I wish it was under better circumstances.
I know, right?
Yeah. So because this is hard facts, and you've heard me, give you the numbers, it's staggering. 762 people have been killed.
And those are the ones that were abducted and killed,
yes,
not just the ones that were killed, right?
Yes,
straight off.
Abducted because maybe nobody paid for,
exactly.
just killed.
Yes, and there are also incidences where you pay money and the people still end up being killed. The point of the matter is that, very sadly, until Donald Trump made the statements he made, these things were starting to become accepted as the norm in Nigeria. The government, the federal government, state governments were absolutely quiet about this. They were not responding to it with the kind of intentionality that one would expect that they should. And it seems that it's only because their position of power is being threatened that they are now taking this seriously, which is terribly unfortunate. Because you see, if a government prioritize the well-being, and which is their primary role, the safety of lives and property, if they took that seriously, we would have seen a lot more action and solution-driven programs and interventions long before now. But it would seem that because they felt that these people being killed either were nobodies, there were people that they did not really... the president went to visit Benue State. Correct me if I'm wrong at any point. And instead, this was on a condolence visit after after there was so much hoopla that you've been quiet for so long. He finally goes there. They line up people to be praising him and, clapping for his entourage as they were driving in. First of all, which shows a complete lack of empathy. Two, it shows a complete lack of understanding of your role as president, as father of the nation. Because if his children were killed, he's not going to go to that ceremony and be expecting people to be clapping for him along the way to the cemetery. He will not expect that. And he's the father of us all. He's the president. Right? And then not only did he go there and turn into some kind of jamboree, he later then said he could not actually visit the location of where these killings happened.
Bad roads.
The
Floods.
number one citizen. Give Peter Obi a day, he will figure out a way to get there. And I'm not here to campaign
You're
for Peter Obi.
politicizing the
I'm sorry,
situation.
but I've seen this man move. And he is not the president. How is it that the number one citizen, with all the paraphernalia of being a president, and Nigerian president is not one of the most powerful presidents in the world, cannot find a helicopter to get there? It just shows you that it was just performative. It was just about convenience. It was just about, let them not say, they're shouting, they're making noise. So let me just do this token visit. And you see, these actions betray the purpose and their why for coming into power, which is why these things have accumulated to such a degree. A lot of resources have been given to these people. They've used it to arm themselves even more, become more audacious, become more powerful. And now it's a very problematic thing because, one, we can sit down here and blame the government all we want. There are also external forces that could potentially be behind this. We know globalization and the ways by which countries have been kept under their control, where they create a problem, then come in and pretend as if they are the solution.
Your savior.
Right? And then in doing that, usurp resources and lands. But then the Nigerians will tell you these resources are not benefiting us.
But then it doesn't mean that we should just throw it away because we want help.
I agree with you. There's even a famous saying that says, "Those who trade their freedom for protection deserve neither." And I believe that. But at the same time, I recognize my privilege. My privilege is that I can think about 5 years' time down the road, 10 years' time down the road. If this people come in, what will happen in 5 years, in 10 years? What do I say to the mother whose children were killed? What do I say to the people living all over the middle belt of Nigeria that don't know whether they'll wake up tomorrow? They can't so much as plan for the next month because they don't know. That is not assured. It's not certain. So the government has to... the government has to sit up to their responsibility. They are too focused on solving for the next election as opposed to making the lives of Nigerians better.
You make me want to ask a question that I asked yesterday, but I'll hold on to I'll ask it anyways. But first, looking at what's happened so far with the monies paid, the deaths recorded, the kidnappings, and all of that, still fresh in our minds. There's an issue of trust here between the people, the government, and security agencies. And this is something that happened in the Jonathan administration, where the numbers that are being reported are not necessarily the same numbers if you were to go to ground, especially for journalists who finally went. What the DHQ would release most times aren't, the real numbers. So how credible do you think these numbers are? Secondly, with the most recent one that happened in Papiri, would you say that this is just, the scale of it, are we seeing a worsening trend, something that has turned into a business, or just more brazen criminality due to what you have called weakness or perfunctory, something?
If they cannot protect us, let us start arming ourselves. Let us protect ourselves. This is an ongoing thing. I do think, though, that there are several plays that are happening simultaneously. And because this government, one, did not come in with a broad vision for its people, it really came into just same of the same. You did not see any robust strategy to curb the security challenge that we're dealing with, which has allowed for the potential for external forces to be able to push into this, because there's a geopolitical play that a lot of people might not even think of. Because yesterday I heard that the government has actually signed for an American military base to be in this country. I heard. I'm hoping that my source is wrong. I am hoping that this is one of those things
Well,
that
we haven't
I want
heard
to be wrong.
anything. So
Well, let us hope that we are wrong, because the idea is it will be established in the north, and potentially that will be a push to take back power in relation to Burkina Faso and all these other AES countries. So there's an external play as well. And these things can only happen because we are still pawns on the chessboard. And we are pawns on the chessboard because our leaders have not sat up to their responsibility.
There's something that you said about them not having a plan. I played a clip yesterday or 2 days ago about the vice president when he was campaigning, and he authoritatively spoke about he handling security under this administration. In fact, he said, and I quote, that he would lead the troops in dealing with this issue of insecurity. This is something they campaigned on. So I don't agree with you necessarily that they did not have a plan.
A man comes and says he will lead the troops, and he is now just the spare tire that's going up and down the world.
Mean?
I mean, I've read several narrations where they say that even the president's son is handling more of government than the vice president. Whether that is true or not,
this
I'm
is hard
not in
fact.
that
You
government.
can't be going by hearsay.
You're completely correct. I take that back. I want you to tell me the impact that the vice president has had in this government. Hard facts. Go ahead.
He's been visiting. I mean, I'm asking the questions here.
I'm
asking the questions. No, I ask questions. I'm the one who asks questions. But, well, the vice president has been acting on the president's behalf. So
has he led this military charge?
I'm not supposed to be answering your questions.
To my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong at any point, he has not led this military charge that he apparently campaigned on. And for the most part, he has been quiet about it. For somebody that seemed, yes. For someone, again, correct me if I'm wrong. For someone that campaigned on it, like you said, because I remember hearing that, there was this idea, maybe, I don't even want to go into that. People believe that he would have more of a role to play in this government. Seemingly.
And you don't think he has had more of a role to play in this government?
See, I think I've come
especially
too far
being that he's from a part of the country where this that's hardly hit by this insurgency.
Is he the military?
Well, I'm asking you, don't you think he has?
I don't think he has. The minister in charge of defense had an EFCC case before he came into government. Had performed abysmally in securing Zamfara State. Correct me again if I'm wrong.
The Minister of State, you mean? Yes.
Yes. Zamfara was, with the gold mining and everything going on there, the level of banditry there was abysmal. And somehow, after failing at managing safety in a state, he's supposed to manage safety for the entire country. And again, you see, when you constantly are solving for the next election, it's affecting who you are putting in positions. As opposed to getting the best minds, the best people with the best capacity to run things. As you saw during Chief Obasanjo's tenure, it was not about whether you campaigned with us or if you were a former governor. It was, you are the best person to be able to achieve this thing, and you see the quality of their performance. Right? So again, the safety of lives and property of the Nigerian is a second thought, which is why things have gotten so bad. But now, fortunately for us, they do realize that with Donald Trump's proclamations, their potential return is now under threat. So if it's only going to be performative, you're going to see action at least we'll start hearing from the government. Government will start acknowledging things that are happening. I mean, before we used to hear from the president when he travels abroad. He didn't used to address local media. Fortunately, that has changed. Now people are answering to, okay, we are talking about whether the numbers are underreported or those are the right numbers. So we're moving forward. But the point is, so many people have gone. So many people are dead. They're not coming back. Your poor performance has cost the lives of many people. You have situations where again and again, local communities are screaming out that the army is coming to take away their arms. Their youth that are standing up to these terrorists are being hurt by the army, and no investigation is being done.
Well, yeah, but we're not allowed to carry guns in this country if you don't have licenses for them.
Okay.
And I'm not in any way saying that people should not defend themselves, but I'm saying in the eyes of the law, that's a crime.
I agree with you. But your role is to protect lives and property. That's your first role. People are being literally genocided in communities. The youth are standing up with locally made guns. And your role, what you're trying to do, you're not attacking the people that are attacking them. You're hurting the people that are standing up to them. I mean, community after community has said this, that the army comes in, takes away their ammunition or whatever it is, and then the terrorists come shortly after. So again, going to something you said about the credibility, belief in the government, belief in security agencies, we need to come to this table with sincerity of purpose. It cannot just be about money in government. It cannot just be about continuing a pursuit for power and holding on to power for the sake of power. The lives of people should be better. We
have to go on a quick break. When we come back, we're still talking about the case of insecurity. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
On Wednesday, the round of 16 fires up again. At 4 p.m., Timmy Comprehensive College takes on International School, University of Lagos, and they are asking, does national resilience depend more on citizens than leaders? Then at 5 p.m., Heritage Group of Schools battles Life Joy Academy as they debate whether corporate social responsibility should focus more on sustainability than philanthropy. Who takes the win? Who makes the stronger case? I am Yvonne Okhaifo. Join Femi Abon-Daniels and me as we find out on Wednesday. I Beg to Differ Season 9. 32 schools, now 12. One winner, 5 million naira, one grand title, the Champion of Champions. Sponsored by GZ Industries, supported by Obiwizi, Multiplan Pathway College, and Fina Microfinance Bank. I Beg to Differ. The Tournament of Champions.
The biggest food festival on the African continent is back. It's the GTCO Food and Drink Festival, wait for it, Holiday Edition. That's right, on Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st December 2025 at the GT Center, Plot 1 Water Corporation Drive, Oniru, Victoria Island, Lagos, the GTCO Food and Drink Festival returns for a special holiday edition. Think mouth-watering street food, retail stores, exclusive chef demonstrations, and master classes. And for the kids, a magical holiday wonderland. The GTCO Food and Drink Festival is for everyone. Your holiday experience starts here and attendance is free. After all, what's a holiday without good food? Don't miss the holiday edition of the GTCO Food and Drink Festival on Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st December at Plot 1 Water Corporation Drive, Oniru, Victoria Island, Lagos. The GTCO Food and Drink Festival, supporting small businesses and promoting enterprise.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The general public is hereby advised to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Verify the licensing status of such schemes on this website websites www.cbn.gov.ng, www.nicom.gov.ng, www.pencom.gov.ng, www.sec.gov.ng, www.fsrcc.gov.ng. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call CBN 0817-665-7060, SAC 0209-462-1168, 0916-772-3240. Announcer, FSRCC.
Are you finding it difficult listening to your favorite talk radio Nigeria info via the mobile app? Come closer. Let me fix that for you. Now, launch the app on your device. Click the 3 lines on the top left corner of the app. Look for settings in the drop-down menu and click on it. Turn on the first option that you see. Make sure you turn on the option that says always use highest quality available audio. Now that you have done that, close the app and relaunch it. Voila! I did it! Oh, sorry, you did it. Now you can enjoy your radio anywhere, anytime. Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Welcome to Nigeria Info, where the news sparks conversation.
The Miete Ala Cattle Breeders Association has condemned the sanctions against them.
We are finished. We're like a sour soup waiting for someone to warm up. We have to wake up to the House of Assembly. We have to wake up to the House of Senate.
All this talk about voodoo is nonsense. If I had any authority, I'll fire
The
him.
football team is as bad as the economy of the country.
If you listen to both ends of the argument, whether it's the one where there is a genocide or the one where there's no genocide.
So ever since they have been saying they have been defeating and killing and the rest of them, it's like
What they are just interested in now is who is coming to their party, who is not coming to their party.
so what we call this one now, Chibok 3.0.
This is your space to listen, share, and be heard. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
This is where it all connects, all in one place.
Federal government says it is winning the war on terrorism.
Our president is there. This promise will never come to pass.
That he feels somewhat insecure just by the measure of his money.
Most of us don't even know the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. If everybody die, which voice is going to speak?
Yes, and Wike is one of the major actors in the demise of the PDP.
Getting George Kiss in Nigerian court is not possible.
The news, conversation, information, and more. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
We're back. If you're just joining us, program is Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station. And today we have an abridged version of the show. Of course, what's on everybody's mind, or what's on the lip of every Nigerian, every tweet, every post on Instagram and Facebook is about the kidnappings, the killings, the wave of terrorism that has taken over the country in the past few weeks. And of course, the bigger question is, where do we go from here? My guest is a former governorship candidate for the Labour Party who is now a member of the ADC. He's in the studio with us live, and we've been talking about government's handling of this issue and, of course, the trust deficit that remains between us, the people, and our leaders. Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour still with us in the studio. Before we went on that break, of course, we were talking about the vice president and, of course, the administration's campaign. They rode into office on the wings of that campaign that they were going to put. Everyone who ever wanted to be president before the last election campaigned also on the issues of insecurity.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't know if we've been able to at least scratch the surface. But let's talk about the fact that Trump and the American government has gotten involved. For example, there was a tweet put out some days ago talking about how disgraceful the situation is. Do you think that if there was no Trump effect or factor, that we probably not see the speed at which things are happening, or could it have still happened? Judging from what happened from January, I think there was a year that I think this year actually we started with killings also. I remember last year I had plateau killings. People just kept talking. I remember even later on this year, the governor of Plateau State had told the people in his state that, look, we have to arm ourselves and protect ourselves.
Anyway, even on those states as well.
Exactly.
The government was mute. No, please, correct me if I'm wrong. Was the government did not say anything. The federal government did not say anything. They did not acknowledge that any of these killings happened.
Well, I mean, to the government, at least, Mr. President had told Governor Alia, if I recall properly.
That's the one where it came to Benue.
That they should, sort themselves out and live in peace with their brothers and sisters. They did at least respond.
That was after a lot of hoopla. You listed a number of states where killings had been happening and there was no response from government. And then there was lots of pressure in relation to that particular Benue one. And I recall prior to that, I might be wrong, but I recall that His Excellency Peter Obi went to visit and the governor made a whole big fuss about, you have to tell me before you come in, because he wanted to go and visit the location of these killings.
Yeah.
And they said that his security is not guaranteed. And then he left. And then shortly after, President Tinubu said he was going to come and visit. And this is where this conversation that you're talking about happened. But prior to this, there have been killings all across the Middle Belt, all of this year. And the federal government was absolutely quiet about it. It was almost as though we're imagining it. And the videos that we're seeing were like a creation of our imagination for a government whose primary purpose is to protect lives and property.
But do you think that this insecurity issue has been politicized on both sides, whether it be you, the opposition, the government in power? In fact, we've also heard, I think APC Lagos State has said that there's the hand of Esau in this issue, that, they feel like they're internal people who are sponsoring this insecurity against the government of Tinubu.
Sometimes it takes a thief to recognize a thief. And if you recall what these people did in 2015, before those elections, they were the ones that went to visit the American president. They were the ones that were calling for the president to resign. They were the ones that were calling for America to almost invade and come and take control of this country. Like, such unpatriotic set of human beings, right? They were doing this not because the extent of terror was nothing compared to what we're experiencing now. PDP was not shutting down their meetings and sending thugs and police to harass people. I can only imagine if the roles were turned, what they would do now. But what they would do now cannot be more than what they did then. Right? So when they're projecting themselves onto other people. And you find that the political leaders that are in the opposition today, they've tended to be very measured with what they're saying. I've looked at it. They've tended to be very measured. Nobody is coming out to say, Donald Trump must come now. Nobody's going to visit him to say, these people are terrible, come and take over government right now.
Well, I saw Bayo Nanaga's tweet last night, if I'm not mistaken, calling Peter Obi a traitor. I'm using that word loosely because I'm rephrasing.
Yes.
Saying that he is actually that Peter Obi is calling for Donald Trump to invade.
There was
country.
A whole context of that video. People should watch that video. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't read past the headline or read past the tweet. Watch the video and listen to what Peter said himself. It's just like I was on channels, I think day before yesterday, and I was talking about the failure of government and how a government is in a position where if one life is taken unjustly, they are responding to it to show that there is credible value in the life of a Nigerian. And if that's not the case, the government itself should consider starting to license firearms and create its own special forces in that place with the citizenry to protect themselves, right? And this was with a wider context. But people all over the headlines was Gbadebo is calling for people to take up firearms and things like that, So unfortunately, that's what we see. But I'm saying the Bayo Nanaga's, what has he said to all the people that participated in the destruction of Goodluck Jonathan's government? Because now we look back and they made us think that 220 naira to $1 was madness. But then they took us all the way to 1,900 naira. And they're still in government. These are people that made us believe that everything was falling apart because Goodluck Jonathan did not respond to the abduction of one set of the Bring Back Our Girls
The
situation,
Chibok girls, yeah.
the Chibok girls. Meanwhile, how many states have had people abducted simultaneously? And if not for Donald Trump saying anything, they would have been quiet. It might not even have been the news. That's a fact. So how dare he call somebody else a traitor when nobody has gone to pay a visit to the president? This would be the perfect time if we are selfish and if we are unpatriotic. The entire ADC structure and PDP structure should go hand in hand to President Trump and call for Bola Ahmed Tinubu to resign because he's failed at protecting lives and property. Has anybody done that?
Let's talk about how much this insecurity has spread, because I want to open up the phone lines. There are lots of people who want to talk. By the way, we're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. You could join the conversation, post your comments. You can tweet at us at Nigeria Info FM. Use the hashtag HardFact. On WhatsApp, it's 08095975805. It spread all the way to Kwara. I was watching a clip by one of the preachers, Lagos preachers, Matthew Shimolowo, who was, talking about the map and how it's, spread all the way. It's getting close to Lagos, whether we like it or not. And it's spreading really fast. But did it start today? I remember Sunday Igboho, screaming about this issue.
Yes, all over Ogun State, Ondo. That's why the likes of the late Akere Dolu, someone I treasure very dearly, because this was a man that put aside his presidential ambition and came to say this must stop and put force behind Amotekun and really championed it. Meanwhile, Lagos was quiet. Oshun was quiet at that time. They were, right? These were people that stood up against the whole idea of Ruga and taking lands in Yoruba.
Well, the federal government has banned open grazing. Have you heard that?
I heard that.
Is that a welcome development for you?
Certainly. We need to go to ranching, right? We need to do that so we can start to understand who are the people coming into communities, right? The movement between communities, especially at that level where you're not just moving in a car through communities, you are coming to that community. You should not have excuses to do that and then justify raiding somebody's farm and destroying their farm and having people in communities that then start to be accused of killing and raping people. We need to listen. The whole of the Middle East, they consume so much meat. They have agricultural methods that allow for animals to grow in a healthy way. We need to get to that next level. We cannot continue behaving as though we're in the 1800s.
All right, well, Lagos, the phone lines are open. Join the conversation. 0201-277-0993 for the ladies. 0201-465-7190. 60 seconds. Go straight to the point. He knows it's a good afternoon, even though it's not very good because, people are still dying. People are still being held. But go ahead. Tell us what your thoughts are and we can keep it moving. Post your comment on our live stream. We would like to hear from you. Go straight to the point, please. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hi, Maryann. Good afternoon.
Yes.
Good afternoon to your guest. I can see he's trying to throw you under the bus, but Maryann no agree for anybody. My question to Mr. Vivour would be, since this non-kinetic approach that the presidency has been using over the years has not worked, if he has the president's ears, what will he be saying the president should do? Because in my opinion, if you're negotiating with bandits, terrorists that unleash mayhem and massacre on your innocent citizens, then you are also succumbing to blackmailers. And blackmailers, once you give them the first ransom, they'll continually ask for ransom
100%.
till you drop dead.
100%.
So if non-kinetic approach has failed, if you have the presidency's ears, what would you be saying right now, Mr. Vivour? Good afternoon once again.
Thank you very much. Would you like to quickly respond
Yes,
to that?
certainly. First, this using kid gloves to deal with terrorists has to go. We need to use maximum force, apprehend these people, and life, death sentence immediately. There should be a special court created for this, and death sentence, because you are taking the lives of so many people. Those lives are not coming back. This negotiating back, if we are in a war, because it has not come to Lagos, because it's not in Abuja, the people that are experiencing these things are experiencing what it's like to be at a war front, right? Because a lot of people are not experiencing that does not invalidate the experience that these people are having. And you don't wait till it comes to you before you do something about it. Right, that's the first thing. Secondly, they've constantly been talking about people are financing. They will release the list. We've never seen this list. The people that are financing these things should be listed. There should be a special court made for this, so justice is delivered swiftly, and a fair court. So it's not something you now use to go and be prosecuting your political opposition. You must be able to show that they are the ones financing these things. All their assets must be frozen, and those funds can be taken and put to fund the military.
Do you think that we're ever going to be able to get to that point? The reason why I'm asking is, with the update that we got yesterday from Dr. Bello Matawale, he posted on Twitter, and I'd like to read it. He says, update, our tactical team has successfully rescued and abducted the abducted students of the Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School, Maga, in Kebbi State. The mission was carried out in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's directive to ensure their safe return. I commend our security and intelligence forces with their swift response, dedication and professionalism. And he puts a hashtag restoring peace. Now the question that follows under the post, everyone is saying, so how much did you pay in ransom? Where are the people that you captured? Did they sleep while you came and picked the girls? What exactly went? What happened?
What's your process?
Because everyone's asking, will we ever be able to prosecute at least one person to use them as an example? Do you think that's ever going to happen under this administration?
Again, it's about intentionality. What is your bigger vision? If you feel that you're going to get money from oil and you can just keep paying these people and you don't want to step on any tools because it might affect your next election, you will do things the way they're doing it.
But the government is saying they will not negotiate with. El Rufai had come out to say that there were negotiations, and they said
a budget for paying off bandits.
Well, the government of Kaduna State is actually begging to differ. But we've also seen what's happening in Katsina, where the local government chairmen are in cahoots, or rather, having
meetings with bandits that are kidnapping their families in exchange for them to return.
But the federal government is saying that they will not negotiate with bandits. So what exactly are we supposed to believe? And is there any hope that this is
also the crisis of credibility, right? Where we don't know what is actually going on. Government is saying this, the other part of government is saying that. And this flip-flopping just does not give much belief or credibility to the system, right? So aside from publishing people that are financing these things and, shutting that down, there's also an understanding of how are these people being supplied? What are their supply chains? How are they getting intelligence? Why do we always seem like they're one step ahead of our military? In today's day of drone warfare, drone intelligence gathering, how is it that we cannot have enough drones to find where these people are? We don't need to send the military or even the Air Force in. We can use drones to locate these people and take them out. I mean, for President Trump to say that, remind us about when his team came in to rescue an American citizen and the army and the entire country was not aware of it until they left. It says a lot about the state of our defense, which is why he can come out and brag and tell the president of a disgraced country, according to him, that he can have him kidnapped and his closest men will not know.
Well, let's take a few more calls. How about that? Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah, hello, Maryann. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Yeah, quick one. My name is Collins anyway. I want to ask a question to your guest. To him, do we really think that we are seeing democracy in this country? I mean, for the fact that we have seen different cases of what is it called, people being forced to vote for a certain party. I think Sheriff brought out that news this morning, and I mean, in this APC government, are we seeing democracy in this country?
All right, thank you very much. I'll take another quick call and then we'll answer that question. Don't forget, you can post your comment on our live stream on Facebook and on YouTube. We would like to hear from you. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good afternoon, Maryann.
What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Raymond from Lekki.
Go ahead.
Nigeria will hail you on your mandate which has come. To me, if you ask me, I will tell you that APC has overstayed his welcome in Nigeria. In 2016 to date, what has they really given to Nigerians if they took over power in 2015? Is it security? Is it education? Is it economy? Where are we today? To me, Nigeria should get rid of APC in 2027 for us to have a fresh vote. Thank you. Good afternoon.
All right, thank you very much. Let me read some of your messages and questions. Someone has a question. This one says, good afternoon, Maryann, and thanks to Mr. Bible. The federal government, they have not cancelled opening grazing. They claim no ransom was paid, but they still kidnap daily. I don't understand, Ayo, the remaining part of your message. I think you have a lot of, I guess your messages were mixed up. Someone says, if I were in power, I will invite both Putin and Netanyahu. The government in office knows well about the terrorists that were brought into the country. And that ousted the most hated president in 2015, GJ. The people in power and Buhari knows about the terrorists in Nigeria. We were all here when terrorists chose Buhari, I beg your pardon, to speak on their behalf. There is an outcry from certain people and faith immediately, which immediately has, oh my God, immediately Trump named Nigeria a special country of special concern. All right, Jeremiah, thank you very much. Guys, when you're sending me a message, please look at the message before you type send, okay? This one says, what were the Nigerian government doing when President Trump's government were busy funding their military and other institutions? President Tinubu's government was busy funding their wallet. Ifeanyi, thank you for your message. Another person here says, are we now having two commander-in-chief in Nigeria? It appears that Sheikh Gumi is now the commander-in-chief of the bandits, and Tinubu is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Nigeria. Tinubu's aides will tell you that he doesn't sleep because of Nigeria's issues, but that picture that went viral day before yesterday says otherwise. He was busy sleeping while the security chiefs were briefing him. So, Comrade Godfrey, seriously, we're talking about very serious issues. Okay, thank you. This one here says, I think that at this very moment, Nigeria needs a leader like Benjamin Netanyahu, even though I don't agree with some of his actions. Okay, I'll read one more message and we'll talk about this issue of democracy. Chris Okeke here says, I attended an international seminar in Dublin today and I was so embarrassed about the comments about Nigeria. It is so sad that human life is worthless. I'm very sad that our leaders are so greedy and selfish. Is there a democracy in Nigeria? My caller was asking.
Listen, I'm done being the victim.
There is a democracy in Nigeria, isn't it?
Democracy is what you make it. Democracy is what the people make it. How many are these politicians? If you add all of them up, they're not up to 200,000.
Including you, though.
Including me. They're not up to 200,000. Even just Lagos alone, that is a ratio of 200,000. There are about 20-something million people in Lagos State. Right? The ratio, we outnumber them. We are the many, they are the few. But if we continue to cower, if we continue thinking about just our own selfish interests, as opposed to think about the interests of the collective, we will always be divided, poor. Our children will experience more poverty than we experienced. I can now tell I keep saying this, I can now tell my children that I knew a time when Nigeria was better. I can point to Obasanjo's time and say, my son, there was a time that Nigeria was much better. And my father has had that moment too. His father has had that moment too. So the country is perpetually getting worse and worse. So just, okay, you work hard, you make money, you can buy a Range Rover, you can buy whatever car you like, you can live in Ikoyi, and you can send your children abroad, go for healthcare abroad. Yes, it's good for you, but what of all the people you need to employ to make your company work? What of the reality that a lot of investors are not going to come to your country because they are scared that some militants are going to come down to Lagos at some point? Look at how the stock market crashed in the past couple of days. You might be all rich and everything's working for you, but issues that are beyond your control are messing up the value of your stock. So we must start to think about the collective interest. We will not move forward until we start to have leaders that prioritize the collective interest of Nigerians.
Is it just about leadership? Because you started, that they're just a handful of people and we're more in number. Are we not part of the problem? The fact that we're divided, it's our time. It is. I mean, I'm just coming back from my state, and that's also the thing. Oh, this is our time because the guy that's in power is from a certain, So this ethnicity bias that we have across the country, is that not a killer?
It is, but all of these things are engineered because of the
So we let a
values.
handful of people spin our brains.
Pretty much. Because of the values of the leadership, because of the values that cloud our electioneering. It's not about your ideas or your policy or your understanding of the problems and your solutions to it. It's about what language do you speak.
But haven't we suffered enough and learned nothing?
But listen, the fact of the matter is that Nigeria is still a very poor country. The education system in Nigeria is still a very poor one. You are not engineering citizens for the world that we are in today. Mm-hmm. Look at the syllabus. Look at the quality of education. Look how much we're paying our teachers. Right? You're not, and democracy goes very well with a learned, educated, right-thinking population. Because if your population is always going to sell their vote for whatever amount you're willing to pay, then it's in the interest of a political elite to impoverish that population as much as they can so they can buy that vote for the cheapest possible price.
Is that what's happening now?
I don't know if that's what's happening. I don't know if that's if that is being intentionally done, but that is the reality. Because back in 2022, the level of poverty is not what the level of poverty is today. And right now, if you have accumulated a couple of billion, you can be rest assured that you're just going to bring out that money and buy votes. So you're not going to be thinking about the problems. You're not going to be thinking about the solutions. You're not going into office to have with a robust visionary idea. Because if you think about it, to be an African from Nigeria, you people have been enslaved. You people have been colonized. You people sit on one of the richest lands in this entire world. And it does not occur to you at any point that you must have a robust security setup. Not just protect yourselves internally, but protect yourself from external forces that might want what is under your ground. You take for granted the new values that have come after the Second World War, which is about equity and fairness.
You have to go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Gbadebo is still here.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
So my husband's boss, Chief Odogu, came visiting and I made ofe salad with Mr. Chef beef, all-purpose and crayfish cubes, plus my 2-finger crush. Odogu, who doesn't eat out, even carried takeaway. Now you do this one, oh, Mr. Chef.
Savor the taste of culture with a 2-finger crush of Mr. Chef seasoning cubes. Available in chicken, beef, and all-purpose seasoning cubes. Mr. Chef, taste home, taste culture. Chef of life.
Say hello, Lagos. Hello, Port Harcourt. Hello, Abuja. This is Kids FM, the family fun radio. Kids FM is packed with exciting drama, engaging games, inspiring stories, great music, and the kind of conversations that bring families even closer. From sunrise to sunset, we've got something special for everyone in the family. Kids FM is fun for children, cool for teens, and just perfect for parents. It's more than radio.
It's packed with educational content such as language shows, quizzes, storytelling, fun facts, and many more.
It's a family experience you can count on every single day. So, wherever you are, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, or anywhere around the world, you can tune in live on 101.7 Kids FM or stream online at kidsfm.ng. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at kids.fm.ng for all the fun updates, giveaways, and behind-the-scene moments. Kids FM, let's play!
.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk. Let's talk.
This is Hard Facts.
All right, we're on the home stretch. Beg to Differ comes up right after this, at the top of the hour, 4 o'clock. Femi Abong Daniels and Yvonne Haifo will be here in a bit. But before then, where do we go from here? Where do we go? Because
I appeal to the APC government to take their job seriously, to get up and get their job done. It will be very disgraceful for us to have to rely on a foreign power or sign any deals with a foreign power when we have all the resources and the manpower, if channeled properly, to solve this problem. And be intentional about it. It's time to put aside this whole electioneering, banners on Third Mainland Bridge, on your mandate we shall stand. All that is rubbish right now. Nobody should be singing that song when a foreign president is calling your nation a disgraced nation. We should focus, everybody should sit on this matter to restore security to Nigeria.
Well, I'm hoping that something changes sometime soon, and this is not just mere, playing to the gallery. Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour is a former governorship candidate on the platform of the Labour Party, but he's now a member of the ADC. I want to thank you so much for coming to the studio. I appreciate it. All right, Lagos, there you have it. Tomorrow we'll be back. More conversations, hopefully. I will be speaking with the National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Ini Ememabong, as we continue to speak on, of course, matters arising in the PDP and the state of the nation. My name is Maryann Okon. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, MIMIEYO. Or better still, just Google Maryann Okon. I Beg to Differ comes up right after the break.
We talk about the big stories and more.
Nigeria's newly
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.